Hola, hola, hola. Hey, everyone. Welcome on this very hot Wednesday. Welcome to another episode of Mujer de Éxito Unbounded. It is so warm in here. So my air conditioning has been down, and so I'm like here with all kinds of fans, but I had to turn them off because it ruins the sound of the podcast. But anyway, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Mujer de Éxito Unbounded, Woman of Success Without Limits. I am your host, Marti, and I am here to welcome you. Hola, hola, hermosa. Welcome back. Welcome back. If you are a regular listener, gracias por estar aquí. This is where we talk business, where we talk mindset, where we talk energía, and we talk the power of reinventing yourself at any age, right? As I said before, I am your host. If you're listening to the Mujer de Éxito Unbounded with the host Marti Angel on the Coach Marti Angel YouTube channel, remember to subscribe and hit that bell. And if you're listening to me, wherever you listen to your favorite shows, make sure that you download the episode, give me some love, and share it out. If this ever hits you, share it out, right? So I am known as the Empowering Latina Coach, the Sixth Sense Mujer, the Multiple Streams Queen, because I get my stream of income from multiple sources. But what are we here to do? Is we are here to help you, the mujerpreneur, the seasoned mujer, at any age, start a life full of abundance, purpose, and growth. All right? So let me share today's message. Today's message is one that hits very close to home. One that every mujer, myself included, and every mujerpreneur over 55 needs to feel deep in her soul. Because today, ahora, we are not talking about your timing. We are talking about tu voz, your voice. About you, the mujer who's an entrepreneur who has had the right answer to all her questions on the tip of her tongue for many years. Yet something inside her still says, wait, stay quiet, patience. This is not your place. Don't speak up. If you were ever told, mujeres hermosas chulas, niña, te miras más bonita calladita, you look prettier silent. If you have ever heard that said to yourself or anybody else, you are in the right place today. You are here because this message is for you. And today, I am here to tell you la verdad, the truth, the spiritual truth, the business truth, the mujerpreneur truth. You see, mujeres hermosas, chulas, your voice was never a mistake. Never. The silence was the wound, and today, ahora, we begin to heal it. So let's talk about the phrase that nobody says out loud. Yes, we're continuing last week's conversation about the solar plexus and your personal authority. But today, ahora, mujeres hermosas, we're talking about it somewhere very specific. From your solar plexus chakra to your throat chakra, we're talking about your voice, which encompasses all this area of your body, right? And I want to tell you a story. Déjenles cuento una historita. All right, so let's talk about this story. You see, when I was a child, I remember my uncle and my mom and my dad sitting there, having a little beer, chatting after work. And I came out of the hallway into the area where they were. And I sat down. They didn't say anything. Everything was cool. And then I opened my mouth to add to the conversation, I thought in my mind. But here's the deal. My uncle turned around and he said, Niñas se ven y no se oyen. In other words, little girls are to be seen and not heard. As a kid, that hit me hard. So as a kid, a family dinner, a classroom, a moment, your opinion got shot down before you finished the sentence. That's what happened to me. So what do you think happens inside the head of this child? Right? That phrase doesn't need to be spoken to be taught, mujer. It is taught in the silence expected of us in how the little girl who is supposed to be quiet, the quiet little girl, gets rewarded. And the one who speaks up gets corrected, gets called bossy, gets called dramatic, gets called crazy, gets called ADD, gets called ADHD, gets called too much, gets called too sensitive, gets called all of those things. If you have ever been called any of those things, mujeres, I am here to say, I got you. I know you. I am you. You see, because that saying is taught not just in, verbalizing it when you are in a room full of adults and you're a child. It's taught in the report cards that say, those teachers, and there used to be a box in elementary school that said, check this box if the child talks too much. So the teachers would check the box, talks too much in class. How many times? Now, here's a stat that came from me that I researched when I was principal of a school. And this is a stat that you need to understand that is not out there, but that was from my experience as a principal. So I began to do this internal study because it was like a character flaw. Instead of a girl who had something to say, it was like a character flaw, like, oh, I shouldn't say things like that. So what I did, here's what I did. I actually began to ask a lot of my students, as girls and boys, if they had ever been told, don't talk so loud. You don't know what you're saying. You talk too much. Or if their report card had ever said, good person or good student, just curb the talking, stop the talking, whatever. And you know what I found? This is just my stats. Over 80% of the girls that I asked if they had ever heard that, if somebody had ever said that to them, if their parents, their friends, 80% of the young ladies I spoke with said yes, they had been told, don't say anything, don't interrupt, or something like that. Yet, only 30% of the boys ever heard that. Now, that's just me. And that was at a school of 1,200 students, because I asked every single student. Now, obviously, this wasn't in the course of one day, but I did ask them, and that was crazy. 30 to 80, whoa. What happens to a silenced voice? Hermosas. ¿Qué les pasa a la voz de ustedes? Here's what nobody tells you. It doesn't disappear. It hides in your body. It hides in your chakras. It shows up as anxiety before you speak in a meeting. It shows up as anxiety, therefore, i.e., There are a lot of women out there that say, I don't like to speak in public. Yes, that is the thing. Not speaking in public can come from being shut down when you were a child. That inner child was shut down. Ay, mujeres hermosas, as resentment, that quietly piles up over years of biting your tongue. I know. And then when you speak, oh Lord, here she is speaking, and now she's bossy. Mandona. That's what they used to call me. Bossy. And as that tightness in your throat, right when you most need it to tell the truth, is what's happening. So you hold it in. You hold it in. You hold it in because you learned to be quiet when you were little. You learned to hold it in instead of telling the truth. Be careful how it lands when you speak to a partner, when you speak to a client, when you speak to a business owner, your own reflection. You see, as I work with my community, I can see this constantly with the mujeres I coach. They are brilliant, capable, sitting on a treasure trove of ideas and boundaries and prices that they're worth. And they keep bringing it down because somewhere along the way, they learned that being seen, or we all learned, that being seen and not heard was safer. And it was safer for a little while. It was safer as a kid. It was safer in my house with all those rules. But now it is not safer. Now that I am a mujerpreneur, now that I am, over the age of 50, well over the age of 50. How about that? It's not safer. It's still costing me. It's still costing you. So think about that. Here's what I want you to actually do this week. And you know me, yes, as a former formal educator, college professor, assistant principal, now turned business coach, have been a health coach for many, many years, over 10 years. But here's what I actually want to share with you, mujeres hermosas. There are two practices que quiero compartir con ustedes that I want to share with you. And these are practices. What does that mean? It means that you must do it daily, just like yoga is a daily practice. So is this. Question the voice that comes into your head. When something inside your head says, shh, don't say that. Ooh, don't say that. Cállate. Ay, don't be so dramatic. Oh, you're full of drama. Don't say that. It's not worth the conflict. Just let it go. Stop. Now, here's what I want you to do. That's that voice inside your head. And have you ever noticed that it speaks all the languages that you speak as well? Yes, it does. That darn voice, at least in my head, me habla en español. It speaks to me in English. And it actually tries to trick me because je parle un peu français, which means that I speak a little French, right? And it speaks to me in that language too. Oh my goodness, does it speak like that to you? Right? That voice in your head, have you ever heard it? It speaks Spanish, it speaks French, and it speaks English, the same things I do. So then you wonder. I want you to wonder. Then I want you to address the voice and ask yourself out loud, who does this voice belong to? Say it out loud if you're alone. 9 times out of 10, it's not yours. It may even say it's your mother's fear. It may even say it's your father's fear. It may even say it's your sister's fear. It may even say it's your fear. But whatever it says, your fear, your mother's fear, your teacher's discomfort. Maybe it says it's a teacher that you had, a teacher's discomfort, a culture's idea of what a good girl does. Perhaps it's your culture. Whatever you heard, ask it. Ask it. Who does this voice belong to? Who does this voice belong to? And then listen. Just listen for a little bit. Maybe a minute, 1 minute. Listen. And then answer it back out loud in the language it showed up. ¿Qué onda? Is what I say. It's my voice and it's in Spanish. ¿Qué onda? Right? It's my voice. It's in English. Wait, what the? And if it's in French, it's like, no, right? If it spoke to you in whatever language, answer it in that language. If it spoke in English, answer in English. Because remember, last week we talked about mi diablito interno is bilingual, is actually trilingual, but my diablito that sits over here on the right side, because your angel sits on your left side, because it's closer to the left side of your brain, right? But your healing has to be there too. This is not just poetic. Ask it. What happens to you when you hear that voice is neurological. It's your nervous system encoding language. That wound that you're listening to that now has this little voice, that wound was installed in a specific tongue, and it needs to hear itself get overruled in the exact tongue. So that's why you need to speak to it in Spanish. If you hear it in Spanish, you need to speak to it in whatever language you hear it in. Listen carefully. Now, let me share with you why this actually is business work. Because a lot of my people are saying, well, that has nothing to do with business. On the contrary, everything in your world has to do with your business. Now, why is this business work and not just healing work that I'm sharing with you? Well, let me share. Let me tell you this. But let me get a little drink. I said it was warm, so let me get a little drink. I talk about this on a business podcast on purpose. Why? Because I'm the sixth sense mujer. I am finally coming out of the closet. I am a sixth sense mujer, something I've been hiding since I was a child because I was told that what was happening, what I was doing, and these things needed to be quiet. But I'm sharing with you, what does it have to do with business? Because every single negotiation that you, mujer hermosa chula, have avoided, every price that you've undercharged, every price that you have lowered, every boundary you didn't set with your client, every boundary that your client has crossed the line on, that traces back to this. All of those things trace back to this. Yes. And let me share with you, mujeres, if you're still watching me on the Coach Marti Angel YouTube channel, remember to subscribe and hit that bell. If you're loving this kind of story and coaching in a way, then make sure that you share it out so that I can help more people. Help me to help more people. Help me to be a servant leader to more people, to more MujerPreneurs. But let's go back. You cannot build an unbounded business with a bounded voice. Let me repeat that. You cannot build an unbounded business with a bounded voice. You see, the podcast show is called Mujer de Éxito Unbounded. That means that you are unbounded. You are not bounded. You are not holding back. You are truthful. You are authentic. You are raw. You are real. So, mujeres, let's talk about that solar plexus. The solar plexus work isn't separate from the biz work. It is the biz work. You see, I have a detailed and I created a chakra, right? A chakra image. And inside of every one of those chakra images, I tell you what it actually correlates with in your business. So if you want a copy of that, let me know, reach out to me, and I will also put a link to where you can get it in the show notes and then the description below. All right, so let me share a little story. I had a client. Tuve un cliente. I'll call her Vane, who came to me making good money, really good money, more money than me, but exhausted, constantly over-delivering, terrified to raise her rates. And when we traced it back, it wasn't a pricing strategy problem at all like she thought it was. You see, many of the strategy problems that you think they are internal energy problems. It was that raising her rate felt in her body like the same exact danger as talking back at the dinner table when she was 12 years old. Once she saw that connection, once I was able to help her make that connection, the strategy got easy. The nervous system work is what made the strategy possible. It's so true when they say you can't heal others if you haven't healed yourself first. And that's so true. You can't really run a successful business if you're not working on your spiritual self as well, and in your internal self, and just in all the areas. That's the order it actually goes in for most of us. Heal the wiring, then the tactics finally work. Let me repeat that. You've got to heal the wiring inside your head, en la cabecita. Tienes que sanar la cabecita. Tienes que sanar la voz. Then the tactics finally work. I know. I've done it myself, so I know what I'm sharing with you is something that actually works. What you need to understand about being a servant leader is that I will never, ever try to coach you beyond something that I have not tried myself. So, mujeres hermosas chulas, I'm hoping that this is landing with you. If so, you're watching me on the Coach Marti Angel YouTube channel. Subscribe, hit that bell, help me grow this channel so I can reach more people. And if you're listening to me wherever you listen to your favorite shows, help me to grow this podcast so I can reach more mujeres. All right. So let me just share with you. Before you go looking for another script, another landing page, another sales page tweak, another way to sound more confident, another digital product, pregúntate, ask yourself honestly whether the block is strategic or whether it is a 9-year-old still waiting for permission. Because hermosas chulas, the truth of the matter is, when you begin to ask yourself, and these are all self-coaching questions that, self-coaching is important for you to use daily. 9 times out of 10, mujeres hermosas chulas, it is that the 9-year-old inside of you, that child inside of you, is still waiting for permission. Yes, that's true. Now ask yourself, who am I waiting for permission from? And when you listen, the first word you hear, that's who you're waiting for permission from. So you have to know yourself totally. Whew, that's a big ask. It's a big ask for you to really practice this daily. But one more thing before I close today's episode. This work that I'm talking about is not about blaming you. It's not about blaming your parents. It's not about blaming your abuelita. It's not about blaming your culture. It is, though, about honoring all those things, all those people, all those circumstances. You see, most of the people who taught you that niñas se ven y no se oyen were themselves taught the exact same thing. And they were just doing the best, their very, very best with the tools that they had. Mujeres hermosas chulas, in a world that has continuously punished loud girls a lot more harshly than it does today, you can hold compassion for where the rule came from and still decide today that it no longer gets to run your life. It's not running mine anymore. But like I said before, it is a daily practice. You see, both things are true at once, though. And that's what you have to be aware of, right? So, hermosas chulas, that's all I have for you today. That's it for today, for today's episode. Mujeres hermosas chulas. Thank you so much for listening, watching on the Coach Marti Angel YouTube channel to the Mujer de Éxito Unbounded show. If you're listening to me wherever you listen to your favorite shows, gracias, gracias, gracias. And if this landed for you, do me a favor, please share it with a mujerpreneur, a BIPOC woman in your life who needs to hear that her voice is not a mistake. It is not a mistake. It is your advantage. It is your advantage. So remember, suscríbete gratis a mi Substack. If you really want to see what else I talk about and how I write, I invite you to check out my Substack. I am writing there daily notes, little tidbits to help you. I am writing there weekly articles for my newsletter. So subscribe to my Substack for the full write-up and this week's journaling prompts. And if you're ready to go deeper, my book is linked. My book that is getting a lot of notoriety. And the title is, and you have to be very careful, the title is, how about if I show you? If I show you the book that is so important for you to understand that every chakra is sitting on top of an endocrine system. Change Your Energy, Change Your Life, a journey through your personal energy system by me, Marti Angel. You can still find it. It's a short book. It was my first one, and the second one is being worked on right now. So, if you're still here with me, gracias por estar aquí. This is your host of the Mujer de Éxito Unbounded show, Marti Angel, saying, have a beautiful day. Les dejo un fuerte abrazo. And as always, be kind, be genuine, and be generous. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.